Good afternoon, everybody. Doc Dave here with On Call with Doc Dave. And today we're going to do episode number 27. And this is an episode that's always in the news. It's probably more frequent than people think because it's misdiagnosed a lot. And I think it's a topic that everybody should be aware of and educated about. So I'm going to discuss today what's called ADHD, which is Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. So what is ADHD? And then we're going to get into causes, treatments, and everything later. But I want to explain to you what a person with ADHD experiences, the habits they have. So there's 10 habits I picked out from all my research and my experience in the past. And number one, probably the most common, is distractibility. It's difficult paying attention to projects and easily distracted. Number two is disorganization. The organization skills are poor and they struggle to organize tasks. Number three, forgetfulness. Frequently lose things, forget important dates. Number four, impulsivity. They have trouble controlling impulses and mood swings. Anger and impatience is a personality trait as well. Restlessness, need for constant activity or stimulation, difficulty sitting still. I think that's the thing that most people think about when they think about children or adults with ADHD. Procrastinating, put off tasks and trouble managing their tasks. Number seven, hyper-focused, so engrossed that they lose track of other tasks. Number eight, multitasking issues, trouble multitasking and focusing on current tasks. So if you give them one or more than one task to do, they have issues organizing and doing those tasks. Number nine, poor planning, trouble planning and following instructions. So those are, the 9 most common personality traits and presentations of people with ADHD. So habits that help ADHD, that's important to know. This is how you try to minimize the disorder. There's no real cure for the disorder. The disorder will last throughout life and usually gets slightly worse as you get older. So habits that help. We need to know this. Eating healthy foods. Can't be eating fast foods or high carbs or fats all the time. Getting proper sleep is important. It's important that they try to get a minimum of 7 hours of good, solid sleep a night. I know that's easier said than done, but that's important. Exercising frequently, even small exercises, things that take their mind off their disorder and their agitation, and getting good exercise so they have better self-esteem. Prioritizing tasks, to help them to prioritize things. Don't just flip from one to another and back again and then do a third or fourth task. Communicate with friends, have social skills. So that's important too, even with friends that have ADHD. They need to be able to develop social skills. Practicing meditation, that's a big deal now. That's becoming more important. They have to have relaxation skills so that their mind can rest. And stress management. It's something you have to help them with also. They have to manage their stress activities. Keep them well hydrated. and limit screen time. Don't let them be focusing on games and TVs throughout the day. They have to, especially before they go to bed at night. That's how they're going to improve their sleeping skills. And yoga, it's calm and keeps them focused. So those are things that you can do without a doctor involved, without a therapist involved, without medications on board. These are things that will help the individual with ADHD. Now, most common addiction that these people have is, unfortunately, alcohol and drugs. And these are other facts about ADHD that you probably should know so you understand the disorder a little bit better. They have poor self-esteem. They're sensitive to criticism. They're generally depressed. They have difficult work activities, difficult with relationships, and difficulty with healthy habits. They're exposed to threats and they overreact to them. Now, what do you avoid if you have ADHD to try to help minimize the disorder? Now, the main things are sensory inputs, flashing lights, and hearing sensitive issues like fireworks or loud noises or bangs. Those types of things will drive a sensory overdrive that these people have, and it can make their symptoms flare up and get quite agitated with that. So you want to try to avoid sparkles, flashing lights, and hypersensitive hearing inputs. So, what are the causes of ADHD? Well, basically it's unknown, unfortunately. It's not vaccines like everybody hears on the news all the time. There's never been any documentation that vaccines will cause any ADHD symptoms. So kind of put that out of your head. But what are the causes? The most common cause is genetics. They get it through genes from their family. Their mother and their father have had ADHD or any kind of mental disorders, and that will be passed along genetically to their children, unfortunately. Sometimes the environment they're in, it can precipitate ADHD. A CNS disorder in the central nervous system during their developmental phases. And alcohol abuse, that'll cause it as well. So you got to be careful with any alcohol usage in adults with ADHD. So how do you treat it? Well, that's the big thing. There's medications. Most common one is Adderall. It's a stimulant, and it overrides the stimulus that the person is having with the ADHD symptomatology. And the other one is cognizant behavior therapy. Now, that's something your psychiatrist will develop, and it's something you really don't need all the details in right now, but if they get therapy and they have a good psychiatrist or a counselor, this cognizant behavior therapy will be a critical part of the treatment. So that's what you need to know. That's ADHD in a nutshell. The old saying about ADHD, and even the current saying now, is that pills don't teach skills. So don't just rely on medication. There has to be input from the family members, friends, and counselors and therapists. So I hope you learned something today. I did. And if you like this, hit the like button, please, or subscribe. This is something good that's pass along to people that may want to educate themselves on this disorder, or if you have friends or family that have children or adults with ADHD, this is a good, concise, educated podcast on this disorder. So thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to the next podcast coming soon.